Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. And man, it does feel good to be back. As many of you know, for the last 2 weeks, I've been out celebrating my wedding and my honeymoon. Went all the way to Australia for 2 weeks, and it was absolutely unbelievable. But I want to thank all of you guys for your continued kind words and all of your support, both here on YouTube and through the emails you guys have sent me. It has absolutely meant the world. I truly, truly appreciate it. I'm still working through all the comments and emails. I'm going to get back to every single one of you. I can promise you that. So thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed these last 2 weeks. I want to give a big shout out to Connor Hibbett, who did a phenomenal job taking over for us. Did a great job covering for us, giving you some analysis and predictions for some of the biggest games of the year, and it was an absolutely insane final 2 weeks of the year. Rivalry week was insane. Conference championship weekend, insane. Connor, great job covering it. We hope you guys enjoyed his analysis. Hope you enjoyed his expert picks as well. Went a overall 60% between college football and NFL picks over these last 2 weeks. So major, major props to him. And again, thank you so much for that. But now it's time to get back to work, right? It's the best time of the year. It's bowl season. It's bowl season. So let's jump into this thing. Let's get into breaking down every single bowl game, just like we've done every single year since starting this channel. Now, we are doing things a little bit different. We're going to be doing multiple sets of bowl games, at least for the first few days. So between now and Saturday, we're going to be predicting 20 games, 4 sets of 5 over these next couple of days. And then next week, we will dive in to individual videos, of course, starting with the opening round of the college football playoffs. So we will have many individual bowl game predictions coming your way, but not until next week. For now, we're predicting a lot of games well in advance, just to try to get ahead of the curve as things are really about to start picking up. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We'll start with the first FBS bowl game. We got the Celebration Bowl on Saturday, but the first FBS bowl game on Saturday is the Salute to Veterans Bowl. That is South Alabama and Western Michigan. A really interesting battle here, one that could be high scoring between two teams that finished hot. Two teams that got off to slow starts but really picked it up. South Alabama starting 2-4 but going 4-2 down the stretch. Western Michigan starting 1-3 but going 5-3 down the stretch. Both these teams clinching a 6-6 record. South Alabama averaging over 34 points per game, which is awesome. Western Michigan over 29 points per game. All the more reason we think this could be a high-scoring game and what's practically a home game for the Jaguars. But here's the thing. South Alabama could be without some key starters. They could be without their star quarterback, Gio Lopez, who was injured in their final game of the year. We already know they're going to be without their star running back, Fluff Bothwell, who rushed for over 800 yards on the year. So they've got an offense that's been really good this year that's going to be without potentially 2 of their biggest playmakers. Western Michigan, they'll be without one of their top pass catchers, their tight end Blake Bosma, who leads the team in touchdown receptions. He will not be playing in this game either. But what this ultimately comes down to is defense. And neither team has a good one, right? So really it's about which offense can exploit the other's defense the most. And that's going to be South Alabama. Even potentially without their quarterback, even without Bothwell, I like Major Applewhite's squad. They've got great running back depth. They've got great wide receivers, especially if Jamal Pritchett, who has over 1,100 yards, especially if he plays. Expect South Alabama to make more plays on the offensive side of the ball and get enough defensive stops to win this game. The Jaguars get the win, 7-6 under Major Applewhite. How about the Frisco Bowl? Number 25, Memphis and West Virginia. Love this game a lot, but to me it feels like a no-brainer. And sometimes that can be dangerous in bowl season to be so confident on a game because anything can happen in the postseason. But you've got a Memphis team that's 10-2. Some would say that's disappointing because they had playoff aspirations in the preseason, American title aspirations in the preseason. They fell short of both, but still a 10-win season, nothing to be upset about. A veteran, senior-led Memphis team that hit 10 wins this year going up against a West Virginia program that has fired Neil Brown and is seeing a lot of players, especially defensively, enter the transfer portal or opt out of this bowl game. None bigger than their star linebacker, Hosea Trotter, who was second on the team in tackles with 93. You've got a Memphis team now that's led by a veteran quarterback in Seth Hennigan, who's thrown for over 3,200 yards and 23 touchdowns, averaging over 268 passing yards per game, now facing a West Virginia secondary that's one of the worst in the country. West Virginia has given up 268.9 passing yards per game. That ranks 125th in the nation. So one of the worst secondaries now has to face one of the best quarterbacks in the group of 5. Yeah, I like Memphis' odds here. You won't see too many opt-outs or changes on the Memphis side of the ball. This is a big, big game for them, an opportunity to clinch an 11-win season, an opportunity to go out on a high and send these seniors out on a high. They're going to do just that. As long as the Tigers can bottle up the West Virginia run game, and Memphis does rank 10th in the nation against the run, They're going to be just fine. I think that's exactly what happens. West Virginia can't stop the pass. Memphis wins this game and clinches an 11-win year, while West Virginia awaits their fate to see who will be the new head boss, who the new head coach of the Mountaineers. How about the Boca Raton Bowl? Western Kentucky and James Madison, two teams that had 8 wins this year. Maybe a little disappointing for both. Western Kentucky was hoping to have, obviously, more wins and hoping to win the conference championship, which they made. They made the conference championship, but lost by 40. So that's unfortunate. Losing 52-12 to Jacksonville State. James Madison was riding that high from Kurt Cignetti, who, of course, went on to Indiana, was maybe hoping to continue his success. Obviously, I don't think any of us thought James Madison would win 10, 11 games again this year. 8 wins, nothing to hang their hat about, and they've got a lot to play for. They win this game, it's their first bowl win in program history. So a lot on the line in the Boca Raton Bowl. And I'll tell you what, the Dukes are going to do it. The Dukes are going to win this game. Why? Because Western Kentucky cannot stop the run. Western Kentucky gives up 222 rushing yards per game. That is 130th in the country. James Madison averages 190 rushing yards per game. And as long as George Pettaway, who's rushed for almost 900 yards this year, plays, we expect that he will, I don't think Western Kentucky has what it takes to slow him down, especially with a handful of defensive players opting out of this game. Guys like their number 2 tackler, Hosea Wheeler, their linebacker, Darius Thomas, who leads the team in sacks, and their defensive end, Deontay McCray. Those guys are not playing in this game. Your rushing defense has been horrible all year long. You have 386 rushing yards to Jacksonville State in the Conference USA Championship game. Now you're facing another great running team in James Madison. You're not going to be able to stop them either. A lot more on the line for James Madison than Western Kentucky. You might kind of have their head hanging down after a bad loss in the Conference Championship game. I like the Dukes to win this game, clinch a 9-win season, and clinch their first bowl in program history. How about the LA Bowl? California and UNLV. You know, it's kind of crazy. Crazy looking back and saying, man, UNLV, if they had beaten Boise State in the Mountain West Championship game, the Rebels would be in the college football playoff right now. Kind of crazy to think about. It's also crazy to think about the fact that California at 6-6 could have, maybe should have, been a 9 or 10 win team. The Golden Bears are 6-6, and so don't let the records deceive you. The fact that UNLV is 10-3 and California 6-6, that doesn't mean UNLV is going to go out and just win this game. The Golden Bears are 6-6, but 4 of their 6 losses have come by a combined 9 points. Combined 9 points over 4 games. That is brutal. Brutal. So if California just found a way to win those close games, they would probably be a 9-10 win team. And who knows where they'd be. They definitely wouldn't be in the LA Bowl, I can promise you that. But here's the thing. You've got a California team that's much better than their record shows, that still is fighting hard. Also just got a new offensive coordinator in Brian Harsin that could work out well for this game. Maybe not. Time will tell. Going up against a UNLV team that maybe is down on their luck after missing out on the playoff, after losing in the Mountain West Championship for the 2nd year in a row, and now has seen their head coach Barry Odom leave and head to Purdue to take the head coaching job there. You could see a handful more transfers or opt-outs from UNLV over the next couple of weeks. And the one thing that California's got going for them in this game is not just continuity, but they can exploit UNLV's weakness, and that is stopping the pass. California, as long as Fernando Mendoza plays, and we expect that he will, he's thrown for over 3,000 yards and averages over 266 passing yards per game. UNLV's given up over 240 passing yards per game. That ranks 106th in the nation. So they're going to exploit that UNLV secondary, and UNLV is a team that needs to run the ball to win. California only allows 107 rushing yards per game. They're going to sell out to stop the run, force UNLV to win the game through the air. They're not going to be able to do it. California gets the win, finishes with a winning record under Justin Wilcox, and maybe next year they can have a breakthrough year in the ACC, and maybe next year could be the year they win those close games and really improve on that win total. And then finally, Georgia Southern and Sam Houston in the New Orleans Bowl. This is an intriguing game too, and it's unfortunate that there are so many opt-outs in this game, but this one's somewhat understandable. The legendary head coach Casey Keeler at Sam Houston is departing to become the head coach at Temple. So naturally, many of his players are leaving the program to follow him to Temple, or if they don't want to go there, they're transferring out to look for other opportunities. So you lose your head coach. Naturally, a lot of people do leave. That's exactly what's happening for the Bearcats, who deserve a lot of credit for flipping their record. They went 3-9 last year in their first year at the FBS level. They went 9-3 this year, which is truly unbelievable. But They're losing their leading rusher in Jay Ducker. They're losing their number 3 rusher in DJ McKinney. They're losing their number 1 tackler in Caleb Weaver, 86 tackles and 4 interceptions. They're losing their number 3 tackler in Trey Fields, and they're losing their sack leader in Chris Murray, 5.5 sacks on the year. So losing 3 of your top defensive players, you're losing 2 of your top rushers, which is like, they kind of been the bread and butter for Sam Houston this year is running the football. Yes, they still have dual threat quarterback Hunter Watson, but he can't do it all by himself. The Eagles are bad at stopping the run, but I think that will be a little bit easier with the lack of depth that the Bearcats now have. And the Eagles have a very underrated offense. One that, put up 45 points on Boise State back in the season opener, had scored over 30 points multiple times this season. They've got a great offense that people do not talk about nearly enough, and they've certainly been more battle-tested than that of Sam Houston playing in the Sun Belt versus the Conference USA. So give me Georgia Southern to win this game by at least a touchdown. Sam Houston kind of discombobulated without their head coach, without some of their top players. Excited to be in a bowl game, yes, but not going to get that bowl win yet. Georgia Southern clinches a 9-win season, and that wraps up our first set of bowl predictions here on the channel. First 5 games, we got 15 more to go over these next couple of days, and then again next week we start our individual predictions, more deep in-depth analysis over some of these top bowl games. Of course, that includes every single college football playoff game. We're going to have you covered every step of the way. If you want these spread picks for each of these games, check it out over on the gridironexpert.com. Every single bowl game spread pick will be there, whether you signed up for one of our expert picks packages already, whether you sign up for that holiday special, which is there for you. Go take advantage of it and start winning big with us today. We've hit at least 60% of our bowl picks every single year. Not many handicappers can say that, but we can. So go check it out. Link to that down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.